Listen to me carefully, my friend. You are standing on the edge of something extraordinary. You are not reading this by accident. God Himself has led you here because He is about to do something that will shock even you. There is a financial miracle on its way to your life. The heavens are about to open, and what was once locked is about to be released. You may not see it with your physical eyes yet, but in the spiritual realm, the sound of abundance is already echoing. The season of lack is ending. The drought is over. God is about to release a divine flow that will transform your finances, your home, your purpose, and your future. God is not finished with you. He has seen your secret tears, your silent struggles, and the nights when you cried out asking, when will it be my turn? You've seen others rise, doors open for them, and blessings flow to their hands while you stood waiting faithfully. But I tell you, your waiting has not been wasted. Every delay was divine preparation. Every closed door was not rejection, it was protection. And now God is saying, get ready. I am about to release what you could not achieve by your strength. The hands of God are moving to shift your situation, and no power on earth can stop it. When God decides to release a financial miracle, He doesn't check your bank balance. He checks your faith balance. He looks not at what you have in your hands, but what you carry in your heart. Do you still believe, even when nothing seems to change? Do you still trust when the bills pile up, when opportunities disappear, when people turn away? Because God's release comes not to the proud or the doubtful, but to those who dare to believe when there is no evidence. Faith is the currency of the supernatural. And when you choose to believe beyond your circumstances, you trigger the power of divine provision. Let me tell you something deep. God never releases miracles randomly. Every financial miracle is connected to purpose. God will not pour into an empty intention. He releases abundance into the hands of those who are ready to steward it with wisdom, humility, and gratitude. If you have been faithful with the little you had, if you gave when it was hard, if you helped others when you were struggling yourself, if you stayed generous when you felt unseen, then you have already qualified for the overflow. Because when you remain faithful in famine, you become the vessel through which God pours His rain. You see, God tests before He trusts. He observes how you handle small opportunities, how you manage scarcity, how you treat others when you have little. And if He finds your heart steadfast and pure, He multiplies what's in your hand. You might have one seed, but in the hands of God, that seed becomes a field. You might have a jar of oil, but in the hands of God, that jar never runs dry. You might be standing in debt right now, but in the hands of God, those numbers can turn into testimonies overnight. Because when God releases a financial miracle, He doesn't add, He multiplies. He takes your ordinary and breathes extraordinary into it. I want you to understand this spiritual truth. God never intended for you to live in lack. Lack is not your permanent address. Scarcity is not your destiny. God is abundance itself. He is the source from which all wealth flows. When you align with Him, when your thoughts, your words, and your actions agree with His divine plan, you become a magnet for provision. You don't chase money, you attract divine supply. Because money is not the master, it's the servant. When God releases a financial miracle, He's not just giving you money, He's restoring your dominion over it. He's breaking the chains of debt, lifting the burden of worry, and reminding you that you were never meant to serve lack. You were meant to govern it. There are some of you right now who are surrounded by dryness. You've tried every way. You've worked harder, prayed longer, done your best, and yet the breakthrough seems delayed. But hear me clearly, it is not denied. Delay is not denial. God has been aligning your circumstances behind the scenes. He has been preparing the hearts of people to bless you, positioning opportunities you cannot yet see, and orchestrating divine connections that will open the floodgates. The miracle is not coming from where you expect. It's coming from where you least expect. God often hides your blessing in unexpected places so that when it arrives, you will know it was Him and not man. Sometimes God withholds the financial miracle until He has shifted your mindset. Because a limited mind cannot hold unlimited blessings. You cannot receive overflow while still thinking in scarcity. God had to remove your dependency on certain people, certain systems, certain jobs, so that you could finally understand your source is not them, your source is God. You may lose the job, but you can never lose your source. You may lose the opportunity, but you can never lose the one who gives it. When your confidence shifts from the world to God, that's when the release begins. Listen closely. God's financial miracles are not about luxury, they are about legacy. He blesses you not just to raise your standard of living, but to raise your standard of giving. You will become a vessel of divine flow. The blessing that is about to hit your life is not just for your bills, it's for generations. Our God is positioning you to be a conduit, not a container. You are about to overflow, not because you asked for wealth, but because you asked to be used. God releases abundance to those who can carry His compassion in the realm of provision. You are blessed to bless. There are moments when the divine hand of God moves suddenly. One day you are in need, the next you are in overflow. One moment the door is closed, the next it bursts open. That is how God works, quietly preparing, then suddenly revealing. You may feel like nothing is happening, but the roots of your miracle are growing underground. Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean there's no growth. God is building something bigger than you imagined, and when He releases it, you won't have to force it, it will chase you. The blessing of God does not come with struggle. It comes with peace, but you must position yourself. A financial miracle is not a product of wishing, it's a product of alignment. You must think abundance, speak faith, and act obedience. Stop speaking words of lack. Stop saying, I can't afford this. Stop saying, nothing ever changes. Those words close the very door God is trying to open. Your mouth is the gate to your miracle. If you want to see wealth released, start declaring it. Speak as if it's already done. Thank God as if it's already in your hands. Because when your faith matches your confession, heaven responds. God moves through expectancy. There is power in believing beyond logic. Logic says it's impossible. Faith says it's already done. Logic looks at your account. Faith looks at your assignment. Logic calculates. Faith creates. If you want to receive what the world cannot give, you must believe what the world cannot understand. God is not limited by numbers, systems, or economies. He created them all, and He can rewrite them all for your sake. When you align your faith with His limitless nature, you open the door to supernatural provision. Some of you have been praying for years, God, help me get out of debt. But God is saying, I will not only deliver you from debt, I will position you as a lender. You will no longer borrow. You will bless. You will no longer struggle. You will sustain others. That is the kind of transformation God is preparing. You are not called to survival, you are called to overflow. The season of barely making it is ending. You are entering the season of divine surplus. Even now, God is whispering into your spirit, do not fear. I am your provider. I am your sustainer. Everything you lost, God can restore. Every door that closed, God can reopen. Every opportunity that vanished, God can multiply. You are about to experience divine compensation. What you thought was gone forever will return pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Because when God releases a financial miracle, He does not give you back what you lost. He gives you back more than you ever had. You must understand that abundance begins in the spirit before it appears in your life. You cannot wait to feel prosperous. You must think it, believe it, and act like it before you see it. The energy of faith creates the environment for manifestation. Every time you thank God for what hasn't arrived yet, you're pulling it closer. Every time you act in faith instead of fear, you're aligning yourself with divine timing. Every time you sow, even when it hurts, you're creating the soil for your miracle. I want to tell you something sacred. The reason you faced financial warfare is because your destiny is tied to divine provision. The enemy attacks your finances not because he wants your money, but because he fears your impact. He knows that once God releases what's yours, you will build, you will give, you will rise, and you will change lives. So he tries to distract you with anxiety, fear, and lack. But he cannot stop what God has ordained. The very area of your greatest struggle will become the area of your greatest testimony. Listen closely. This is not the time to give up. This is the time to prepare your hands to receive what God is about to pour out. The financial miracle you've been praying for is not a fantasy, not a dream, not a distant wish. It is real, and it is already on its way. You can feel it in your spirit. Something is shifting, something is stirring, something unseen is about to become visible. The divine current is moving, and those who are attuned to God's voice can sense it. There is an awakening of provision, an opening of the heavens, a supernatural realignment, where God begins to favor those who have remained faithful through the fire. You are one of them. You have been through the testing season, and now God is bringing you into the harvest season. There are times when God allows you to walk through the wilderness of financial dryness, not to destroy you, but to discipline your faith. In the wilderness, God separates you from dependency on man. He removes your trust in systems and teaches you that He alone is the source. The wilderness was never meant to be your destination. It was meant to be your classroom. You learn to depend not on sight, but on spirit, not on logic, but on divine promise. And now that you have passed the test, the time of release has come. When God brings you out, you will not come out empty. You will come out with wealth, with wisdom, with a new level of spiritual authority over the realm of provision. Let this truth be engraved in your heart. Everything you have lost, everything that slipped through your fingers, every opportunity that vanished, God saw it all, and none of it was in vain. You were being positioned for something greater. Sometimes God must empty your hands before He can fill them with what truly belongs to you. The loss was not punishment, it was preparation. The doors that closed were not meant to shame you. They were meant to redirect you. God removes temporary things to make space for permanent blessings. The financial miracle that is coming will not fade away like fleeting income. It will root itself in your destiny. It will be sustainable, generational, and untouchable by any force of darkness. When God releases abundance, He does it in a way that no man can claim the credit. He will make it clear that it was Him. You won't need to manipulate, beg, or strive. You will simply stand still and watch divine order unfold. People will ask you how it happened, and you will only be able to say, it was God. Because when the Creator decides to elevate you, no power in the universe can hold you down. Can hold you down? He can lift you from obscurity to influence, from insufficiency to overflow, from survival to significance in one divine moment. But before the release, God always gives an instruction. The instruction may not make sense, but obedience is the bridge between lack and abundance. When God speaks to your heart, whether to give, to move, to act, or to wait, it is never to take from you, but to position you. Obedience unlocks divine supply. Many miss their miracle because they hesitate when God commands action. The window of opportunity is often small, and the obedient heart is the one that catches the flow. When you align your will with God's will, you invite miracles into motion. You must prepare yourself, not just to receive, but to sustain what you receive. Many people receive blessings that quickly fade because their character was not strong enough to carry their abundance. God is not just preparing your finances, He's preparing your heart. The miracle is not only about money, it's about mindset. It's about transforming how you see yourself, how you see wealth, and how you see God's purpose in your provision. If your heart is anchored in God, the wealth that flows through you will never corrupt you. You will remain humble even in abundance, generous even in prosperity, and faithful even in overflow. Do not despise the small beginnings. The smallest sign of breakthrough is still a sign. The smallest provision is still proof that God is moving. Miracles rarely begin in grandeur, they begin in obedience. That small opportunity you have right now, that little job, that modest business, that small door that just opened, it may look insignificant, but in the hands of God, it can multiply beyond comprehension. God often hides His greatest blessings in humble beginnings. The jar of oil looked small, but it filled every vessel in the house. The cloud looked like a man's hand, but it carried a storm of rain. Do not look down on what is in your hand, It is the seed of your next season. And when God releases this financial miracle, you must remember abundance is a responsibility. It is not just about what you can buy. It's about what you can build. God blesses you so you can become an agent of His purpose on earth. The wealth that is coming into your life has a mission to lift others, to build something that glorifies God, to leave a legacy of faith and generosity. When you use what God gives you for divine purpose, He will trust you with even more. God expands those who expand His vision. Right now, some of you are on the edge of giving up. You've done all you can, and still, nothing seems to move. But let me tell you, when it looks like nothing is happening, that is when God is working the most. The darkest hour always comes before dawn. The night always feels longest before the morning light breaks through. You may feel like you've been overlooked, but in truth, you've been handpicked. God is setting the stage for your miracle. You may not see it, but the arrangements have already been made. The connections are being formed. The opportunities are being scheduled. The resources are being released. You will soon look back and realize that every delay was divine timing. Never underestimate the power of one act of faith. One decision to believe can shift the entire course of your destiny. God does not need a crowd. He needs conviction. If you can believe with your whole heart that He is your provider, you will see doors open where there were only walls. Faith is not waiting for evidence. Faith is creating evidence by trust. The moment you truly believe, the atmosphere around you begins to rearrange itself. Opportunities start to locate you. Favor begins to find your name. The invisible realm responds to the vibration of your belief. You must understand that God is not limited by the economy of your nation or the condition of your job. He can create streams in the desert, rivers in dry places, and opportunities in the most unlikely spaces. When others are losing, you can be gaining. When others are closing their businesses, yours can expand. God's economy is not controlled by man. He can command the wind to bring provision from directions you never imagined. You will find help from people you have never met. You will see favor where logic says it's impossible. Because when God decides to release, nothing can resist His decree. There is a moment when God shifts your identity from the one in need to the one who provides. That shift is about to happen for you. You are moving from borrower to lender, from struggler to sustainer, from the one seeking help to the one God uses to help others. This is not just a change of situation, it's a change of spiritual status. God is about to reveal the power of His provision through your life so that others may witness His glory. Your story will become a testimony that inspires faith in others. But to receive, you must detach from fear. Fear blocks the flow of provision. Fear tells you to hold tightly, but faith tells you to release. You cannot receive with clenched fists. God is calling you to trust Him completely. To step out even when you don't see the ground. To give even when it feels uncomfortable. To believe even when the numbers don't add up. Faith is not reckless. It is restful confidence in the reliability of God. And those who trust Him fully never remain empty. Many times, the financial miracle God releases begins not with addition, but with subtraction. He may remove certain people, opportunities, or sources of income, not to harm you, but to shift you from dependency on the wrong foundation. Sometimes He reduces your resources so that your faith may expand. Sometimes He allows the brook to dry up so that you may find the river He prepared for you. Do not mourn what God removes. Celebrate what He is making room for. The empty space in your life is not loss. It is preparation for overflow. Right now, heaven is watching your response. Will you complain or will you declare? Will you focus on what you lack or thank God for what is coming? The spiritual law of release operates through gratitude and expectation. If you believe that something great is coming, act like it, live like it, speak like it. Prepare your home, prepare your mind, prepare your life as if the miracle is already here. Because faith without preparation is empty talk. God blesses those who are ready to receive. When God is about to release a financial miracle, there is always a stirring in the spirit. You can feel it before you see it. You begin to sense that something invisible is aligning in your favor. The same way the wind moves the leaves before the rain comes, the Spirit begins to move before the blessing arrives. This stirring is not your imagination. It is confirmation. It is the sign that heaven has already signed the decree of your release. Your time of struggle is not your identity. It was only your process. Every moment of pressure, every season of scarcity, every battle you fought silently was preparing you for the expansion that is now upon you. God is about to turn your pain into plenty. There are divine laws that govern abundance, and when your life begins to align with those laws, the flow of God cannot be stopped. One of those laws is the law of faithfulness. If you have remained faithful when things were difficult, if you have continued to give even when your hands felt empty, if you have continued to believe even when every sign said it was over, then you have already unlocked the favor of heaven. God rewards faithfulness. What man overlooks, God multiplies. Every seed of obedience you have sown, every tear you shed while trusting Him, every moment you stayed steadfast when it was easier to give up, those moments are now maturing into harvest. The divine miracle of provision is not a myth, it is a principle. God never allows His faithful ones to be forgotten. You may have been in the shadows, you may have been overlooked, but the time of unveiling is near. The world will see what God has been doing in secret. He will raise you not because of luck, but because of divine justice. There is a moment when the balance of heaven shifts in your favor. That is the moment when every effort you made in faith becomes multiplied. The sleepless nights, the persistence, the refusal to give up, all of it becomes converted into divine reward. Understand this: financial miracles are not simply about money. They are about trust, timing, and transformation. When God begins to release abundance, it is not just to comfort your life, it is to confirm His covenant with you. He is proving that His promises are true, that His word does not fail, and that His hand can make a way even in a dry land. God takes pleasure in prospering those who walk in alignment with His purpose. He wants you to rise so that others may see that trust in Him is never wasted. Your life is about to become a living testimony of divine reliability. But before every release, there is a test. The test is not to break you. It is to measure your readiness. God cannot release greatness into a vessel that still doubts His power. He cannot pour abundance into a heart filled with fear. The miracle must match the level of your faith. If you are asking for large things, you must develop large trust. Small faith cannot handle great wealth because it will shrink under pressure. God must expand your spirit before He can expand your circumstances. So when you go through moments of stretching, do not complain. Those moments are the strengthening of your capacity. The pain you feel today is the proof that God is enlarging you for what He is about to release. Do not fear the unknown. Many people block their own miracle because they are afraid to let go of the familiar. They hold on to old jobs, old habits, old mindsets, and old fears. But God cannot pour new wine into old vessels. If you want divine abundance, you must let go of human limitation. The miracle is not coming from the place you expect. It is coming from a direction you never imagined. That is how God works. He surprises, He rearranges, He reverses. He uses what was meant for your downfall as the foundation for your rise. So when things fall apart, remember, they are not falling apart, they are falling into place. The spiritual realm operates on principles, and one of the greatest is expectation. You cannot receive what you do not expect. God moves through the energy of anticipation. If you wake up expecting nothing, you attract nothing. But if you wake up declaring, today, God will surprise me, you activate the spiritual law of release. Your mindset determines your miracle. Speak faith, not fear. Expect supply, not shortage. The way you think is the way you draw power. Faith-filled thoughts magnetize divine opportunities. Doubt-filled thoughts repel them. Guard your mind, for it is the gate through which your miracle enters. You must also learn to honor what you already have. Gratitude is the soil where divine increase grows. When you thank God for the small, He multiplies it into the large. When you complain, you close the flow. Many people block the miracle because they spend more time talking about what they lack than thanking God for what they have. The words you speak shape the reality you live in. If your words carry gratitude, your world will reflect abundance. If your words carry complaint, your world will echo scarcity. Start today by thanking God even for what hasn't yet appeared. Speak life into your situation. Say to yourself, I am standing under open heavens. God is my provider. I will not lack. Those declarations shift the atmosphere around you. You must also understand the power of divine timing. God does not work according to human calendars. What seems delayed is never denied. Every miracle has a set time. If it comes too early, you might not be ready to handle it. God delays not to punish, but to prepare. He ensures that when the financial miracle arrives, you will have the strength to manage it, the wisdom to multiply it, and the maturity to maintain it. The waiting season refines your character and purifies your motive. When you finally step into your abundance, you will know how to protect it. Many people ask, why does God allow struggle before breakthrough? Because struggle strengthens your spiritual muscles. Without pressure, faith remains theory. But when you go through financial trials and still trust God, your faith becomes unshakable. You stop panicking over numbers and you start believing in promises. That is when you reach a level of peace that no money can buy. The peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, your provider never fails. There is a divine principle hidden in this truth. God will not trust you with what controls you. If money controls your peace, He will withhold it until you learn to control it. Money is not evil. It is energy, a servant, a tool. But when you begin to worship it or depend on it more than God, it becomes a chain. God wants you to master it, not be mastered by it. When you prove that your heart is detached from greed, God can release unlimited provision through you. Because He knows you will not hoard it. You will channel it. You will let His blessings flow through you to others, creating rivers of kindness and generosity. Listen, wealth without wisdom becomes waste. God is about to bless you, but He wants to bless you with understanding. He wants you to build, not just spend. To multiply, not just maintain. To create, not just consume. Your miracle will come with responsibility. It will require you to think differently, plan differently, and act differently. Do not be afraid of this transformation. It is a sign that you are evolving from being a receiver to being a ruler in the realm of provision. You must also protect your energy. When God begins to release abundance, not everyone will celebrate you. Some will envy, others will misunderstand, and a few will even try to discourage you. But remember, favor attracts attention. Do not be distracted by noise. Stay anchored in gratitude. Keep your focus on God, not people. The same God who raised you will protect you. He will silence every false tongue and turn every attack into a stepping stone. The miracle that is coming to your life is too great to be threatened by human jealousy. This is the moment where you must walk with boldness. Speak to your own soul and say, I am ready for the release. Stop expecting small. Stop planning for barely enough. Expand your vision. The greater your expectation, the greater the manifestation. God meets you at the level of your belief. If you believe for survival, you will survive.